Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I'm going to try to be as quick as I possibly can be with this episode because I have to stream here in a moment and I'm not trying to be late, so I shouldn't have waited so late. But I blame myself, alright? I blame myself. I don't blame nobody. But anyways, nah, man. So here, welcome to a story time. I feel like it's been a fat minute since I've done a story time podcast episode, and yeah, like this, I'm gonna say this much: this trip brought me a lot closer to content creating, because I'm like, man, I don't know, like, it's crazy because I'm on this trip. I'm sitting down thinking to myself, like, dang, man, like, when I get home, I'm about to just do a bunch of different stuff with content creating. Like, I'm about to do more podcasts and stuff, more, just like things for YouTube. I'm gonna try to stream more. Like, man, I'm telling you, it was definitely one of those eye-opening trips where I'm like, and it's crazy because, like, what happened on the trip, it had nothing to do with content creating. That's the weird thing about it. It's weird how that stuff, like, it just, something happens and it just, like, it's just this random urge of, like, motivation where I'm like, nah, fam, like, the next opportunity I get to, you know, because I don't know, like, I knew I was going to come back home. I just didn't know when. And so, like, that's the thing. Like, if you guys know me, you know how passionate I am with content creating. And, you know, like, when I say this video is going to come out, I'm going to do this stream, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, like, I mean that. Like, I don't like lying to people when it comes to content creating, you know? So, like, with me being so passionate, so let's just go ahead and get into this, to the story time and stuff. So, anyways, my family had planned a Vegas trip. I'm like, you know what? I like Vegas. Vegas is one of those places where you see a lot. Like, for those that have never been to Vegas, like, if you're like, what is Vegas like? Vegas is always different. It's kind of like when, you know, like when you play one of those, like, procedurally generated video games. I think that's how you say that word. And it's like every time the map is different, that's Vegas. Like, the map remains the same, but, like, just all the different things that you'll be coming across, always different. So, anyways, go out to Vegas, check out some spots. Checked out that Wizard of Oz thing in the Sphere, for those that know. That was pretty dope. I was like, fam, I'm not even really into the Wizard of Oz like that. I mean, I did grow up watching the movie because it's one of my mom's favorite movies, but it's not like one of my, like, if I see it on TV, I gotta watch it. It's one of those things where I'm like, nah. But if my thing is this, what they should do, because I was thinking that, I'm like, fam, they should do like a VR version of this. So I guess, like, if you can't really experience it at the Sphere, then it's like, yeah, if you have like one of those like MetaQuest VRs or one of those like Apple VRs, you should be able to experience it through that. But anyways, just a thought, just an idea. So, but yeah, I had the dopest time. So the day of, I was supposed to come back, because I left Thursday, made sure I did, like, everything I needed to do when it came to, like, content and stuff. And so Saturday, and I'm like, thank God, because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, when I come home, I'm probably not going to want to post no videos or any of that stuff on Saturday. So I'm like, all right, you know, I'm just going to go ahead, make sure of it that I have, like, videos posted for Saturday. I don't know what told me, like, mentally, what brought me to that, like, conclusion for Saturday, but it was, thank God I did so, because I would have missed out on some content and stuff. So anyways, I just realized that I'm about to miss out on some content even for today. So hold on for a second. I'm going to try to multitask, because I usually don't be doing that and stuff, multitasking and trying to post videos and then also trying to record a podcast episode. I'm going to try my hardest to lock in. But so anyways, so Saturday, it finally shows up, you know, and that's like, it's one of those things where, hold on for a second, you know, I'm gonna wait until after this podcast episode. It might even be an extra, I don't know, but anyways, but yeah, so Saturday comes around. And then, me and my family, we're getting ready to head to the airport. So it's like, all right, cool. It's like, I'm about I'm about to go home. I'm about to relax. I'm like, I get to be in my own bed. Like, that's one thing I love about trips is that, like, moment when you come back home. It's like, it feels like you haven't been home in years. But it's because I'm like, fam, I'm like looking around and I'm like, dang, this room, it just seems like it doesn't seem like it's mine. Like, it's like it just seems out of the ordinary and stuff. Like, I come home and I'm like, fam, I get to recording and doing content creating stuff. Just stuff feels out of the ordinary and things, So, anyways, I go ahead. Me and my family, we head into the airport. They waited until we got, because it wasn't even me that planned the trip. It was my mom that had planned it. And so, anyways, they waited until the last minute to text her and let her know, hey, by the way, if you're already at the airport, just wanted to let you know, newsflash, the flight's been canceled. Whoa, wait a minute. Timeout, flag on the play, 10-yard penalty. Repeat this, what you just said. What do you mean the flight was canceled? And so she told me that, and I'm like, this is my first time ever experiencing a flight being canceled. So there's 100 million things running through my mind. When am I going to go home? When are we going to get another flight? Like, I'm not trying to wait. And they were like, oh, next flight is going to Seattle. It's going to be next week. Nah, if you guys send out a private jet, do what you got to do. But I'm like, I'm not trying to wait a long period of time, for no flight. I know that I sound very entitled saying that, but I'm like, fam, I want to go home. All right. That's like one thing that I just want people to relate to me on. Yes, I may sound entitled. Yes, I may sound impatient. But here's the thing. I just want to go home. All right. Like it gets to a moment where I'm like, okay, Trip, it just kind of seems like that I'm just kind of like, if we talking video games, like I'm just repeating the same quest over and over again. I'm ready to move on to something else or go back to home base or something, whatever you want to call it. So anyways, but yeah, so we get, so we're at the airport when we find this out that the flight's been canceled because we're waiting into the check-in line. And then, then once when we went to the airline, that's when the lady was like, oh yeah, the flight, it's been canceled due to a lack of, people showing up. And I know it had a lot to do with this whole Trump crap that's going on. I'm like, fam, Trump, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm pretty sure that there's so many people that voted for him and they were so happy with their vote. Like, yeah, he won, all this other stuff. But if you find yourself in a situation and it has a lot to do with how Trump is carrying on, don't be that person where it's all like, oh, well, I knew that there was going to have to be some set. There should be no American making sacrifices or any of this other. His whole motto is making America great again. Right? How is making America great again if you got people losing jobs? Over here, like, I'm saying, like, you have it where there are people acting so out of character since Trump done got in office the second time around. I'm saying from people that don't like him to people that do like him. To me, it's always funny hearing that one person where they're like, oh yeah, I voted for Trump, but I wish I could have taken that vote back and all this other stuff. Like, I'm no longer a Trump supporter. I'm like, yes, something that we've been trying to preach for the longest about this man. He ain't right upstairs. And my thing is this, it just trips me out because when you sit down, you think about it, right? Let's just talk on Trump real quick. When you sit down and think about it, this man's like, what, 78, 79 years old? Like, he's pushing up to retirement age. Like, he should be retiring. There's people younger than him that be retiring and stuff. Man, 79 years old. He turned 79. Next year, this man gonna be 80 years old. Y'all really trust him to run a 79-year-old man? You didn't trust Obama when he was running for president. You didn't trust Kamala Harris. You didn't trust Joe Biden. But all of a sudden, Trump, he got all the answers. He knows everything that we need to know about America and about how making. The funny thing is, he always talks on that about making America great again. How for us, the American people, can we all come to an agreement on making America great again? That's what I would like to see. That's what I would like to know. Because as far as I'm seeing, it just seems like that America is just becoming more and more diverse the more and more he's in office. So, but anyways, I'm going to save that for another podcast episode, me roasting Donald Trump. But no, anyways, let's talk about this trip and thing. So the flight gets canceled. We're at the airport. The lady breaks the news to us. I'm at a point where I'm like, fam, I remember some stuff from Flight Simulator. Can I just fly the plane? Like, what is it, the pilot? Okay, my thing is this. I'll be a co-pilot. I know some things about, okay, I don't know a whole lot about flying no plane. All I just know is how to press the button to make the plane go flying up and stuff. I'm like, yeah, give me an Xbox controller. Oh, yeah, I'm flying that plane, no problem. But overall, if it's over some like flight attendants, I'm like, fam, I don't care if somebody greet. My thing is this: all we need is the pilot and the co-pilot. I do not care about no flight. It's no disrespect towards flight attendants, but I'm like, fam, I don't eat snacks on the airplane. I don't care for the greetings. I think that's cool and all, but I know that that's a part of their job. But at the end of the day, it's something that I don't need. All I just need is for that's kind of like when you, like, if you going and catching a bus or catching a taxi or catching an Uber and there's somebody greeting you besides the driver, there's somebody in the passenger seat. That's just unnecessary. So that's why I'm like, fam, you guys sit down and think about it. If it's over the flight attendants, I'm like, fam, them people don't care about them flight attendants. All we just need is the pilot. That's it. That's all that we care about. A pilot, and a pilot that's going like the main pilot, the co-pilot, maybe have it where they can be the greeter. But I'm like, fam, the only time when I care about greetings is when I'm going to Walmart. Other than that, I don't care about no other forms of greetings whatsoever. It's polite, I appreciate it, but at the same time, not needed, bro. Not needed. So if that was the case, I don't know what the case was, but overall, we got turned back around and we ended up right back in Vegas. And I'm like, fam, that's one thing about it is that don't get me wrong. I like Vegas. Vegas is a cool spot to be at. You see a lot of different things. That last, like yesterday, that unnecessary day of being in Vegas, it made me not a Vegas fan. Like I got the looking around and I'm like, dang, bro, like it's getting to a point where I'm like, this is too much. I feel like I'm doing, like I'm surrounded by too much here. And I'm like, I just want to go home. Like the more and more I spent like time in just Vegas, the casinos, the Vegas Strip, walking around, by the way, I'm like, fam, you definitely, it's one of those, and that's the thing where it's like, you can't really be riding your bikes on the sidewalks because there's people all over the place. So you try going down the street, there's traffic going back and forth, especially if you on the strip. So it really leaves you no other option besides walking. I'm like, that's the safest option, because if I had a bike, bro, I'm telling you right now, I probably would have crashed into a few people in a few cars. I'm like, because it just seems like there's at times where there's like people, they get caught up both in cars and on foot. So I'm like, that's all, like they just mentally get caught up, like they just stop, pause, and be like, where am I? And I'm like, fam, continue on with wherever you need to do, but just please continue, okay? But anyways, then you got like the panhandlers where it's like they want to like ask you for some form of money. It's like you got where the girls they got like they're pretty much dressed like they're going to a rave. The only difference is that they're wearing like some butterfly thing, and then they trying to like take pictures and all this other stuff. And I'm like, fam, I'm just trying to go home. Like I get what you're doing. This is your job. You work for the casinos, because I think that's what one of them said. They work for the casinos. I overheard them when I was walking by, but I'm like, that's cool and all, and I think you like are doing like, well, I ain't gonna say amazing work, like it ain't work that I would do, but I'm just saying that to be out here where it's like you surrounded by a bunch of just crazy minded dudes, where there are gonna be some dudes out there where I know they're gonna have to slap, punch, kick, do something to them guys, but I'm not trying to take no pictures. I'm trying to go home. I'm trying to go back home in Washington State, so it's one of those things. Yes, if I lived out in Vegas, I'm like, okay, I could just walk on home, catch the bus, drive, do whatever, I guess depending on what I'm doing. But other than that, I'm like, fam, I can't do that, not from my current location in Vegas. I can't walk home. I can't catch the bus. I can't drive. I can't do none of that. I could have, but at the same time, I'm like, that's not how I showed up there. I showed up via plane. I want to leave via plane. And, yeah, man, it's one of those things where I'm like, so today we're heading. All right. So it's like, okay, like cause they did say like, all right, flight's leaving tomorrow and all this other stuff. So it was only a 1 day thing. And I'm like, all right, cool. No biggie, no problem. What was running through my mind the whole time, I'm like, what if we get there again? Cause I'm like, what made a difference from yesterday to today, where it's like, cause I guess they said like people that work for the airline or whatever called out and stuff. So I'm like, what would, I guess, like, so did they make it clear that they're showing up today? I'm like, that's something I wish I would have asked that question, because I'm like, that's what was running through my mind. What was running through my mind was like, I'm not going to go home tomorrow, and it's going to be another situation where they're like, we're short staffed. And I'm like, and I'm gonna have to make a U-turn right back to Vegas. I'm like, fam, I'm not trying to do that. I'm like, y'all gonna have to switch airlines, do something. Cause I'm like, I'm not trying to spend another day in Vegas. I spent more than enough days in Vegas. It gets to a point where it's like, okay, fam, and it would have been like that at any location, you know? So yeah, for those wondering why, I overall, didn't stream and, was late to all that. Yeah, on Saturday, because I would have been home on Saturday, but yeah, well, I guess like by the time you guys hear this podcast episode, it might be some days afterwards. But if you noticed that I wasn't streaming for a few days, it's because I was stuck in Vegas for a little bit. So, but I'm home now. Overall, I'm grinding when it comes to content. Plan on getting Pokemon Legend Z through A or something like that. Tomorrow. But overall though, I'm happy to be home. I'm gonna leave it at that. So anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Just wanted to kind of update y'all, let y'all know what the business is with that. But talk to y'all later. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for the next stream. What am I doing? Stay tuned for the next podcast episode. Like and subscribe if you're viewing this on a podcast streaming service. Like and subscribe viewing it on YouTube. Follow, subscribe viewing it on the podcast streaming service. Fam, I don't know how to do content creating stuff no more. That's crazy. But anyways, talk to y'all later. Peace.